Good morning. Good morning. It's BF and Krumah, Black Man's Personal Development Coach. But y'all know I still got love for and help the sisters. Today I got a question I want to ask you all. What have you decreed about yourself to yourself? Meaning, what have you decided about who you are with just you? Like, you ain't talked to nobody else. You ain't thinking about what other people said about you. You ain't thinking about what your mom and dad said about you. We're not talking about our environment, where we grew up at. I'm talking about what have you sat down and decided that you are with just you, yourself, and I. What have you decreed about yourself with yourself? In the Bible, God tells Moses, I am that I am. Now, God's not using the affirmation the way we typically use affirmations, right? We like, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am this, and we're talking about something that we want to be. But an affirmation, a real affirmation, is an expression of who you believe you are right now. So when God said, I am that I am, he was telling Moses, listen, this is what I decreed about me. This is what I know about me. This is what I believe about me. This is what I know I can do. And a lot of times we never take the time to decree anything about ourselves to ourselves. We let everybody else tell us who we are. Let everybody else tell us what we can and what we can't do. We let everybody else tell us what our gifts are, how good we are, how great we are. A lot of us are afraid to say how great we are because we think somebody's going to say we cocky. We think somebody's going to say we arrogant. So since we're afraid of what everybody else is going to say, we don't decree anything about ourselves. But this morning, I want you to begin to decree something about you with just you. Where you don't need nobody to validate it. You don't need nobody to agree with it. It's just you decreeing a certain thing about yourself. We gotta get out of the idea of affirmations in the way where we're thinking about some future thing, right? Because you can never attain a distant idea of yourself. You can never attain this future idea of yours. You can only experience life in the present. It's impossible, 100% impossible to live your life in the future. You can only experience life in the present. And the reason why so many of us aren't living the life that we want is because we think that life is for a future us when you can never live life in the future. You don't think the present you is capable. You don't think the present you is worthy. You don't think the present you is valuable enough. You don't think the present you has the talent. You don't think, so everything you think is about the future you. You're not decreeing who you are today. You're not decreeing that the present you is the you that can live, that will live, and that deserves to live the life that you want to live. But now we keep thinking about this future version of ourselves. You can never show me one time you was ever able to live in the future. One time that you ever experienced life in the future. We only experience life in the present, so we shall only affirm the present. We shall only decree the present. What have you decreed? Come on. What have you decreed about yourself to yourself? Then we look around at everybody else who's doing great things. And a lot of times we think they're just lucky. Or sometimes we think that they just were born better. Or they have some gene, their genes give them some type of disposition in life where they can just accomplish anything. But we didn't get those genes. Let me tell you something that might sound a little bit strange. Your genes don't determine everything that you can be. They only determine everything that you are. It's up to you to determine how your genes express themselves. Now, that might sound a little crazy. Your genes don't determine everything that you can be. They only determine everything you are, but it's up to you to determine how they express themselves. So your genes as put, it's going to give you everything that you have right now. Your DNA is going to give you everything that you have right now. But that doesn't mean you can't do some things to alter and change that. See, this thing is called upregulating your genes. Or you can down-regulate your genes, which is how we get all kinds of diseases. But when you upregulate your genes, right, you begin to change the DNA that's in your body. You begin to change how your genes respond. You begin to change what you're, listen, think about it like this, right? If a man can decide in his mind that he's a woman, and then he can take hormones, he can take medicines that's going to make his genes express him as a woman. His voice gets lighter, he starts to develop breasts, he don't have the hair, and he can totally begin to look like a woman. He totally changed his genes to change his life. If you can take those medicines, because medicines are nothing but a carbon copy of natural things. If you can take medicines to change your genes, to go from a man to a woman, whatever genes you think that gave you a disposition in life where you can't succeed, you can upregulate those genes and take your life to wherever you want to take your life to. There's nothing and no one that can stop you when you begin to decree something about yourself to yourself. And that's when your genes begin to upregulate, because your body gonna respond to what you tell yourself. Yeah, your body gonna respond to what you tell yourself. You keep saying that you're scared of something. Every time you face it, what you gonna do? You're gonna feel it in your gut. Yeah, every time you encounter something like it, your body responds to what you thought. So you keep decreeing, and your body keeps down regulating. Your genes keep down regulating and leading you to a life that you don't even really want. Leading you to a life of suffering, leading you to a life where you're miserable, because what you keep decreeing in your mind, what are you decreeing to yourself about yourself? What are you decreeing to yourself about yourself? So I want you to ask yourself today, and then I want you to choose, all right, who do I want to be? How do I want to look? And we're not, no more distant future. I'm not talking about future you. I'm talking about present you, because future you don't exist. How can we start talking about a future us if I might die today? So if I die today, the future me that I was thinking about never even had a chance to live. So we only talking about present you. Who am I being? Let's say it differently. Instead of saying who do I want to be, who am I being? Am I going to be the individual that is and living and having everything that I want, or am I going to continue to be somebody who's complaining? Somebody who thinks life just dealt them bad cards. And since I have bad cards, it's no way that I can succeed. Nah, you got to start decreeing different things to yourself. When you begin, listen here, when you begin to create the idea of yourself that you want, and you decree that thing to yourself, the same way your body feels fear in your stomach, like when you're on a roller coaster or when the cop gets behind you, your body is going to respond to whatever you decree. I'm not going to give you 1,000 different affirmations to say, nah, this is for you to choose. Once you choose who you are being, once you decree who you are being, your body gonna respond, and once your body gonna respond, life responds. And that thing that you decree will show itself in the present. It's BF Nkrumah, Black Men's Personal Development Coach.